blank range. We'll be delving into that particular matter and bring you details shortly. Also in the bulletin, the Speaker of Parliament says the first Deputy Speaker erred by counting himself as a member of the House during the vote to approve the 2022 budget. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister is expected back to Parliament to present an amended statement on the budget with modifications. Details of that as well. We are live around the world on 3news.com and on Facebook as well. In the meantime, here are highlights of today's big stories.
News at 10 headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Superfix Tile Cement.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin says First Deputy Speaker Joe Osei-Wusu erred by counting himself as a member of the House when he presided over proceedings on November 30, 2021. Alban Bagbin told members that although the First Deputy Speaker was not wrong in upholding his membership while acting as Speaker, his decision to be counted during the formation of a quorum was problematic. The Speaker also directed Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to return to the House with an amended statement of government's financial policy for 2022. The police has launched a special anti-robbery intelligence-led operation to track down and arrest 3 suspected robbers who shot and killed 2 police officers at Zuarungu in the Upper East region. The IGP, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, was at Zuarungu to commiserate with families of the 2 police officers and the district command. 7 cases of a new Omicron variant of COVID-19 have been detected within communities. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boaje, at a media briefing in Accra, said surveillance has been enhanced within the communities.
Let's go to our first story now. The police has launched a special anti-robbery intelligence-led operation to track down and arrest 3 suspected robbers who shot and killed 2 police officers at Zuarungu in the Upper East region. The IGP, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, was at Zuarungu to commiserate with families of the 2 police officers and the district command. The IGP, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, and his team visited the crime scene at the Zuarungu market where Constable Emmanuel Akoria and Constable Adam Sule of the Zuarungu District Command, who were on routine patrol, were shot at close range by armed men. The IGP also visited officers at the Zuarungu Police Command to commiserate with them over their loss. The team later visited and interacted with the chiefs and residents and assured them of the service's commitment in crime fighting. The Upper East Regional Public Relations Officer, ASP David Fianco Ochre, addressed the media.
Since yesterday, we have been working towards arresting the perpetrators. Barely 10 hours after the incident, the Inspector General of Police, in the person of Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare himself, has paid a visit. He has charged police personnel in the Upper East region to do everything possible to ensure we arrest the perpetrators of this heinous crime, and this should not deter us from doing our work. This should rather ginger us to go ahead to combat crime in the region.
The police called on the public to volunteer information which could lead to the arrest of the suspected robbers. Let's interrogate this very disturbing subject a while longer. Dr. Adam Bona is a security analyst and the Chief Executive Officer of the Security Warehouse. Good evening, sir, and thank you for your time. Hello, Dr. Bona, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. Thank you for your time. To start with, this is, we thought that the policing in the country had seen some really calm times. This is very unfortunate, coming on the back of the efforts that the current IGP is putting into first boost morale and ensure that we are all safe and sound. How do you see this very unfortunate development?
Well, good evening to your viewers. I must confess, it is very unfortunate. Any time police officers, whether off duty or on duty, are shot in this manner and killed, then we must know that, the guys out there, some of them are still very daring. And so I must, condolences to the bereaved, families. And then I believe a lot of police officers hearing this usually would be downhearted, would not feel the morale would go down. But it is gratifying to note that the IGP himself is there. And I'm hearing he's going to be coming down himself. He's evacuating the bodies himself. He's, accompanying the bodies to Accra. But hearing this or answering your question, I would say that yes, if you look at the nature of this shooting, how it happened, these young people, this young police officer, they've spent barely 3 years in the service. Their first postings is to the area, to the Upper East, and specifically to the Zuarungu area. And so one would say that they chanced upon a crime that was, unfolding, and these amateur criminals with firearms obviously offloaded some of their bullets, unfortunately, on them, and the story is what we are discussing. So I wouldn't want to pin this incident and, narrow it down to the fact that security is in a very terrible state. I would say that we still have, young people or persons who, are holding firearms and mustn't be holding these firearms. And I do believe that what has happened, the IG and his people, I'm expecting, and I know that they are going to find these criminals who killed these police officers.
That part of the country, barely, from some of the information we've picked up, barely records these kinds of attacks on security personnel. And like you said, this was the first posting of these two officers who've been gunned down. What does that say to the police officers or to the Ghana Police Service in, getting more soldiers, more officers to that area? How can they boost the morale of the officers over there?
Your line dropped, but if I heard you right, for as far as I'm concerned, one of the many ways to up the morale of the officers is what the IG has done. Within less than 12 hours, he's already there and, visiting the families. And I'm told, I've spoken to the regional command this evening, and I'm told that there's a clinical psychologist who is with the bereaved family and counseling them the trauma they are going through to ensure that, they are able to face what has happened in a manner that will not further deteriorate, their condition mentally. And so I think that at the moment, police officers, I believe, will still believe that the management of the institution is out there for them because maybe in the past, officers were shot in this manner, and the first constable or chief constable, i.e. the IGP, sometimes it takes a while before an IGP would visit, such locations when officers are brought down. But he's there in less than 12 hours. I think he got there in less than about 5 hours after the incident happened, which is good. What I am expecting to see to further boost the morale of these officers is to ensure, as usual, that these perpetrators of this crime, heinous crime, are arrested. Because if a police officer or police officers are killed in this manner, and the police are not able to apprehend these criminals, then I would say that the police would have no locus saying that they are going to protect me, the ordinary person. And so I would want to, the police, I'm told they already have their forensic team up there. They have some of their best crime fighters up there, intelligence officers up there. And what I'm picking is that it looks like these guys are local people. And so even if they cross into Burkina, chances are that I know they would arrest them. You can trust the police. Once you touch one of them with good leadership, they would eagerly apprehend you. So that is my expectation. And more so, probably the government. I know there's been some recruitment that is ongoing.
Right.
They would have to increase the number of officers that are on the beats. That in that way, when this incident happened, probably it would have been a bit more difficult for these guys to get away. But that is not to say that it wouldn't have happened, because if you look at it, these guys look a bit, amateurish, because they stole 2,000 cedis from a provision shop, from grocery shop. I mean, if you go into a grocery shop in Zuarungu, how much would you take? It tells you that these are just some petty criminals who had a firearm, and the police officers chanced upon them, and they panicked, and they pulled the trigger, gunned the two of them down. Okay. And so, let's see, but I am very hopeful, as usual, that the police would apprehend them.
I'm grateful for your
time. With a bounty on their head, 50,000, it's a lot of money. Somebody knows them, somebody is sleeping with them, somebody knows their location, and if I know them, it means that I could get 50,000 tomorrow morning if I report them. And so I believe that those who are listening and watching us, who know who these people are, you have 50,000 cedis for keeps if you give them up and they are arrested.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Yes, and like you mentioned, 50,000 Ghana cedi bounty on the heads of the three criminals who unfortunately shot two police officers. Thank you for your time, Dr. Adam Bona, and congratulations to you for your doctorate. He is Dr. Adam Bona, security consultant and chief executive of Security Warehouse. Let's go to Parliament now. The Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin, on Thursday addressed members on the controversy over the 2022 budget that engulfed Parliament during his 2-week absence. The controversial approval of the budget led to a minority motion which was not admitted by the First Deputy Speaker, Joe Osei-Wusu.
To say, my deputy, the First Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Member for Bekwai constituency, Honourable Joseph Osei-Wusu, the wise, well, he didn't join our group, the three wise men, he didn't join us. So he's still Joe Wise, not wise man. Who am I to say that he might have indulged in an act of misconduct? Tantamount to insubordination. Honorable members, we are, however, faced with a serious challenge.
And that's the Speaker of Parliament, who also said that the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, is expected back in the House with an amended statement for the 2022 budget. Certainly in coming days, we'll give you further and better particulars on that. This is News at 10 on TV3. Stay with us. We have more for you after this break.
I'm going to interview Zuzum right here in my house. Hey!
Look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Acrobat 2. I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop.
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion.
What do you get when you mix extracts of African herbs and fruits with alcohol? You get Origin Bitters, 100% natural African herbs and fruits. Origin Bitters, original taste, original bitters. Also available in ready to drink. A blend of herbs, fruits and alcohol with no artificial sweeteners.
It was HUS 10 for the Employee of the Quarter award. Dubai was calling. Oh, and she almost forgot we are still in a pandemic. So she called asking me where to access a COVID test within hours of her surprise trip. She was surprised I got my results within 12 hours just before my last trip outside. Landbill Laboratory and Diagnostic Center is the place. Unmatched quality service and professionalism with a very friendly, hospitable staff atmosphere. 8 hours later, the email came with her results. Now, you know where to go for a COVID-19 urgent test for your next trip out. They are the most efficient I know of. Landbill Laboratory and Diagnostic Center. Results in 12 hours or less.
Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone papa fie anyhow. Franco say wetie musu friend. Mo amo pre TVs eye papa. TV eye smart. TV eye 4K. Esanso ye Android. Wakwa fa bia prem. Say wo pe 32 inches TV. Another 40 and 43. You go Casepa eye 55 inches. Eye Android and esanso ye 4K. Umpe we na dia na wo pe. Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone papa, any TV papa, fie, anyhow.
Printers, pen drives, memory cards, hard drive, earpiece, chargers, phone cards. Imagine Christ was born on 25th December. How would modern day media react? Your guess is as good as mine.
Welcome back, and if you just tuned in, we're coming to you live from Bethlehem, and there's some breaking news in there. This is definitely something that you must hear and see for yourself, because it is absolutely unbelievable. Well, I have my correspondent on the ground, Giovanni Caleb, and yes, we designated him to follow them all over the place and get the details for us. Giovanni, what can you report?
Yes, I met a young lady. Her name is Mary. And all she can say is, what shall I say unto the Lord? All right, quality, I say, Unaina.
Make a date on Sunday, 26th December to enjoy this hilarious drama by Uncle Ibo White and Media General.
Give me, I'm Joseph. This thing, I don't let it fly because a DNA machine has been placed somewhere. But for Holy Spirit to eat what I'm supposed to eat, this is not sensible.
Exclusively live on TV3 and Onia TV on Sunday, 26th December, 4 p.m. sharp. You can't miss this.
Whether it's intercourse
or
interaction.
The Holy Spirit that has power over all
so
of us.
You
cannot stop the
do
Holy
you know
Spirit.
does Mary know the Holy Spirit?
Keep watching TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
Welcome back to News at 10 on TV3. The Roads and Highways Minister Kwesi Amoakwata says government expects value for money in any road contract awarded. He made the observation after officially opening the 2.5-kilometer Nana Krom School Junction Road in the Denton municipality to traffic.
Road construction has one and only one theme. One, it must be done with quality in mind. All of us must make sure that we get value for money, and this government will not put money into the hands of any contractor who does shoddy work. Road construction will not be left in the hands of amateurs and those who don't have what it takes to do it. Road construction is a serious business. We are in a country that everybody wants to be a contractor and everybody is holding a certificate. No, we are going to, from January, road construction is going to be a very sensitive, difficult area to enter.
Now, the Asokore-Mampong District Court has remanded into police custody the 26-year-old suspect arrested in connection with the murder of a young woman at Pakoso in the Ashanti region. The suspect, Kweku Bonsu, has provisionally been charged with murder. The prosecution prayed to remand the suspect to allow the police more time to carry out its investigations. The police also told the court that the safety of the suspect is at stake if he is granted bail and returns to the Pakoso community. The court, presided over by Her Worship Ifia Densia Sarichre, granted the request by the prosecution and remanded the suspect to reappear on January 11, 2022. Father of the deceased, Umar Farouk, called for justice.
It's painful, but you can't take law into your hand. And besides that, he's in the police custody. We want justice to prevail. That's why we are here.
Now, the Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces, Rear Admiral Seth Amoama, has assured of the military's readiness to combat piracy in the Gulf of Guinea and Ghana's waters. He called on the military to be vigilant at all times, not to be caught unaware.
The Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces, Rear Admiral Seth Amoama, was speaking at the Military Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols in Accra. He tasked service personnel to put the interests of the country first.
There can be no sustainable development without peace and security. And we must all, therefore, take pride in our individual and collective roles towards the peace and security of our nation. That is the sure way to guarantee the development of the nation which we all yearn for.
Rear Admiral Seth Amoama added, the Navy will combat acts of piracy in Ghana's waters.
You are well aware of the emergent security threats from the Sahel region and in our maritime space. The Military High Command, with the support of government, has put in the necessary measures in training and acquisition of critical platforms and equipment to forestall any security breaches.
This year's Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols is under the theme, God Our Hope for Today and Tomorrow.
Now, the latest BBC Africa Eye documentary titled The Black Axe exposed one of the most feared and powerful organized crime groups in the world. The highly secretive mafia, which started as a student fraternity, became a global crime group which has killed, maimed, and has been involved in cyber fraud, just to mention a few of the activities they've been involved in. BBC reporter for Africa Eye, Peter McJob, who undertook the investigation, has been speaking to us about the documentary, which took 2 years to uncover. First, I asked him during an interview that how has the reaction been after the expose?
It's been positive, mainly, judging by the comments on YouTube. A lot of people feel like this documentary or expose, as you describe it, is long overdue, because this is something that we know is a problem in Nigeria. It's in plain sight. You really can't miss it. You know something is not right. You see young people, teenagers, boisterous in nature, intimidating, and almost like they have no fear. And they will talk to you. I mean, this is Africa, where culture and tradition is a huge thing. And then you see somebody who you think is 21 look you in the face and call you by your first name and threaten you. So you know that something wasn't right. And I think people just didn't know where to start or how to make sense of it. But now that we have a narrative of what's happening, a lot of young people in our country, in our community, are cultists with violent tendencies, no remorse, and with no limits. That's established. But also we've realized that something is incentivizing them. Unfortunately, they're passing it on to their younger siblings, their younger cousins in high school, sometimes people as young as 14. So I feel like there's been positive reaction in that light, but the question is still there as to how do we solve this problem. But at least people have an idea what's going on.
This documentary, aimed at changing something. Is there an action you're looking at taking, or what next after this expose?
First of all, as a journalist, there's a story to be told. So that's where it starts. There's an investigation here. There's a cache of documents that reveal that this local fraternity from Nigeria has become a global crime syndicate. So that's news. So from that standpoint, it's something that we have to do. But however, from the social issue aspect of it, the conversation needs to start. It's already started on Twitter. Everyone's talking about it now. So now we know that once this conversation starts to brew, the authorities will have to do something. Even though things are pointed in their direction, people will have to own up to their responsibilities. Names were mentioned within this documentary. The Nigerian ruling party, their name was mentioned because Tony Kabaka is a youth leader in the APC, albeit in Edo State. APC nonetheless. Somebody has to say something. So we feel like once the conversation starts, it moves from sphere to sphere. The academia could discuss it. There's always a solution to any problem. A lot of social problems have economic solution. I believe that. So when people with sound mind and intellect come together, first of all, I think people didn't identify this thing as a problem. That's why it was festering, because it doesn't really get to most people. But we had a case of a young man by the name of Sylvester who got killed. And the accusation is that the people that killed him were trying to bring him into a cult. So that's a private school. Those are children of the elite. So this thing is closer to home. So at some point, people will have to start having serious conversation. And I believe that the purpose of that is, first of all, to show what's happening, to paint a real picture of what's happening. Now, we need to now start having that conversation amongst ourselves, and hopefully, even families will play their own role. If your child is acting funny and looks suspicious, as a parent, you have to do something. As a community, we have to do something. The authorities have to do something. Then you have the vigilante trying to stand up. So everybody will now start to have that conversation, and hopefully we can find an economic solution to it.
Let's do international news now. And scientists in Hong Kong say the Omicron variant of the coronavirus multiplies much faster in the airway passages, which could explain how the variant is spreading so fast around the globe. A preliminary report by a team of researchers at the University of Hong Kong also found that Omicron grows 10 times slower in lung tissues than the original version, which could indicate a lower chance of a severe illness. The remaining 12 missionaries of a group of 17 who were kidnapped by armed gang in Haiti in October have been released. Christian Aid Ministries confirmed the news on its website. 5 of the hostages had already been released in recent weeks. And that's how we bring the bulletin to a close. If you go to 3news.com, you'll get much more regarding what we brought to you this evening and other stories making rounds. Do have a good evening, and as always, stay positive. I am Martin Esiedudate. Merry Christmas.
This program is rated U. It contains no scene, action, or dialogue that could be construed as disturbing, harmful, or offensive. It is suitable for all ages.
A dominant Aduana Stars keep rising, and they have risen to the summit of the Ghana Premier League table. Wafa looking helpless, and Kotoko's fire fading out. Finally, a smile for the Phobians to look up to. Evergreen, Augustine Okra, and Gladson Awako have been. David Abagna-Sandan, Maxwell Abekwe, and Fatawi Tahako continue to be unstoppable. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of GPL Express Show on TV3. My name is Kelvin Owusu, sitting in for your regular host, Juliet Bewa. Everything the Ghana Premier League in the next 30 minutes on your TV. Stay with us. Welcome to GPL Express. Gladson Awako had a very excellent start to his life at Accra Suffolk after the 4-month struggle. While he played his first match for the Phobians as a substitute this afternoon in the Ghana Premier League, despite signing for them 4 months ago. Awako came on as a substitute against Elmina Sharks to drive the Phobians to their first victory of the new season at the Indom Park. His drive was from about 35 yards and it proved very decisive as goalkeeper Bawamate failed to keep it within his reach. Gladson Awako getting the Phobians their first win of the GPL season.
It's midweek action in the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League, and it is match day 8 of the season. And he kicks off for Hatsabok. Here is Ansaboche. Early incursion. Comes across the face of the 18-yard box and it's Subontin finds Boche. Here is Denchi. Again, nobody to connect for the Phobians. Alhaji Mustafa Ben Swan and Atam makes the save. Agbenyo. His work ethics fantastic now. Here is Awako! My goodness!
Oh, what a goal. Took the ball up and over the goalkeeper. Couldn't readjust himself to get to the flight of the ball, but Awaku will claim it. It is his goal.
The wait is over. Awaku has arrived and Awaku has scored his first goal. But for Elmina Sharks, they make that long trip to Tamale, and here they go in search of the equalizer. Time in. It's over. Sharks 0, Hearts 1.